Patriots have a new quarterback. The Cam Newton watch is finally over. The former MVP and #1 overall pick has agreed to a one-year contract with the Patriots that is low risk and high reward for New England. Cam reportedly passed his physical and is cleared to play after recovering from foot and shoulder injuries. The veteran QB is also reportedly, quote, hungrier than ever. So, Shannon, are you surprised that he signed with the Pats?
I'm really not, Skip. I think the biggest thing was during this pandemic was being able to get physically there so their doctors can prod and poke and see how healthy are these shoulders. Let me take a look at that foot. And I think that's the biggest thing, Skip, dealing with someone like Cam Newton, is because you know the talent. He was a former MVP. He was Rookie of the Year. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He's been All-Pro. You know the talent is there. But how healthy is Cam? And I think over the last several years, Cam has been injured. As you mentioned before, he's died on the cross for the cause of the Carolina Panthers. And it hurt him because when you go out there, Skip, people don't care what it took for you to get out there. All they see is one. They see Newton on the back, and they expect those Superman-ish type plays. Well, he hasn't been able to give them to them for a while for the simple fact I believe he's injured. I believe this works out really well for both sides. Skip, it's hard for me to see a scenario that once Cam get caught up to speed, that he does not beat Jared Stidham out for this job. I believe he's the better talent, the better arm talent, the better physical talent, and it's just a matter of getting caught up to speed. And people don't realize that once you know the system, because you got to realize, Skip, there was no minicamp. There were no OTAs for Cam to get an opportunity to hear the verbiage and to run those plays over and over. So basically, there's still 2.5 months, I think, 2.5 months before the season starts. And so that gives him an opportunity to get caught up once camp starts. But he is motivated. Skip, it hurts. Trust me. I've been a guy that's been released or the Broncos didn't want to sign me, and I wanted to show them I still have something left. Talk to Peyton Manning about being released by the Colts and see the motivation that he wanted to show that he still had something left. And if you remember, Skip, when they released Cam, he put out, I think it was on IG, they gave up on me. So he's going to be highly motivated. And if he's healthy, Skip, I don't see a scenario in which he's not the starting quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to start week 1, but once he's up to speed, I believe that talent and his ability to and learn this offense is that once these two things mesh, Cam will be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots.
So I did tell you that he died for the cause in Carolina. I did not say he died on the cross because I will go Superman. I will not go Jesus.
Yeah,
not quite yet. But I'll give you Superman.
Yes.
Although I'm not sure we will ever quite see 2015 Cam again because he died for their cause.
Correct.
The stat is that since 2011, his first year in the league, no quarterback has taken more hits, and that's like an obvious stat, but he's just run away with most hits taken over the last, 9 years?
9 years, yeah.
Of any quarterback in the National Football League, because obviously there were days when he was taking on linebackers and strong safeties, and he wound up with a bum shoulder, surgery for that, and then the surgery on the foot. And I'm not sure how right he is right now. And I'm not sure they've been able to give him a complete, we will pass you kind of physical. So we got to wait to hear exactly about that. But I'm going to assume that Bill Belichick would know pretty much that he would be a 99% pass on a physical, to your point. Okay, so what do I think of this overall move? I thought it was finally a very good move by Bill Belichick. But I still don't think they will be a very good team. I don't know how much you have changed in your total view of the Patriots, but we have a bet dangling by a thread right now.
I feel better about that.
We have 5 cases bet that Tom Brady's record next year will be better than Bill Belichick's record. Bill just helped his cause a whole lot. In fact, I'm going to give you 5 games. I'm going to say he improved by 5 games. But I thought they were looking at 4 and 12 with Stiddy as the quarterback, or as Belichick calls him, Stid. What? You're going to throw that poor kid who struggled in his final year at Auburn, did not obviously start last year because Tom Brady, the GOAT, was still there. You're going to throw him into Tom Brady's winged cleats up in Foxborough in the first game he's ever started in the National Football League and say, Go for it, kid.
Yeah.
I mean, has there ever been worse pressure, especially on an unproven kid, than would be on Jared Stidham?
Right.
So I will give you this, that Cam is the perfect possible replacement for Tom Brady because, listen, Cam Newton will not be afraid of that challenge.
Correct.
There are only a handful of quarterbacks who could step into those shoes in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and be okay with the pressure of it.
Right.
And I'm talking about Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and maybe Patrick Mahomes now, and maybe Russell Wilson, maybe.
Yeah, because the thing is, Skip, when you step in those shoes, you need to be accomplished something in your own right.
You have
and all the guys you mentioned have accomplished something in their own right. Super Bowls, MVPs, Offensive Players of the Years.
And Cam had one hellacious great year. He had an MVP, and he took a 15-1 team to the Super Bowl. He did not play well in the Super Bowl, but neither did Peyton Manning. He outplayed Peyton in that game. It was a defensive game from start to finish. And the Broncos' defense was hellacious great. And it was all over Cam. I didn't mind how he handled himself after the game because show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. But the point is, he did not distinguish himself that day. And ever since, he's not been that 2015 guy. In fact, if you look at his numbers over the last 4 years, his grand total passing percentage, completion percentage is 60%. That ranks 44th among qualified quarterbacks. He's averaged 229 yards passing over the last 4 years, injury-plagued years. That ranks 34th of qualified quarterbacks. So, and again, his QBR 0 to 100 is the scale. He had an average of 44. So he's been below average, certainly by the MVP standard that he set over the last 4 years. But now we get to how much better can he make the Patriots? Well, I was looking at 4-12. So could he make them 9-7? I believe he could. Do I think Tom Brady's still going to go 12-4? I definitely think that they're going to go 12-4. What has Tom Brady been doing for the last 4 months? He has been violating sort of unwritten rules, right? He's been out there practicing in the hot Tampa sun against the advice of NFL doctors and executives, right? And DeMaurice Smith took him on the other day where you can't do that to us because we're still trying to negotiate whether, are you going to get workman's comp if you guys test positive? How's it going to go? And Tom's like, no, I'm going out there to practice and we're going to do it as safely as possible. They're not running into each other. They're not trading collision sweat. They're just throwing and catching.
And why is he doing that, Skip? Why is he putting himself and teammates at risk? Because he wants to show, okay, New England, you ain't want to do this.
Correct.
I'm going to show you that I still have something left.
Okay. So I saw a Pro Football Focus story yesterday that had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster ranked 5th in the NFL. Wow, they went 7-9 last year. I wonder how they vaulted all the way up to 5th. Maybe could it be because they added the GOAT and the GOAT tight end?
Well, first of all, Skip Bayless, they had a talented roster last year. They didn't meet those obligations. Obviously, Jameis turned the ball over too much. But their defense had spells where they weren't great either.
It was not, but then they came alive at the end. So, okay, I'll give you 5th for them. Belichick's defense was ranked, this is pre-Cam. I mean, not defense, their whole roster was ranked 18th. So will Cam lift them up into the top 10? I don't know, maybe. I'm not seeing it because I think Cam is going to find out that what Brady failed with last year often was a receiving core that Pro Football Focus ranked dead last in separation. Mohamed Sanu, according to the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe, was basically a bust. Can he, after surgery, bounce back and have a Sanu-type year, which is why they gave a second for him? Can N'Keal Harry measure up to the first-round pick that was used on him by Bill Belichick, first-round receiver that he's picked since he has been in New England over the last 20 years? He didn't show me a lot down the stretch.
Well, Skip, when you look at it, you look at this roster. They built this offensive roster for Tom Brady. This offensive roster is really not conducive for what Cam likes to do. Cam likes to push the ball down the field. Now, if you look at the roster, you look at all these guys, they're like shallow, like shoreline. You know, Julian Edelman is a shallow runner. So they're not a team that really pushes the ball down the field. So they're going to have to revamp how they do certain things. Also, Skip, Carolina did a lot of damage for Cam. Skip, you're running quarterback powers. What do you think? And that's a big target. That's not a small man. That's a 6'5", 255-pound man that you're running a power like he's Eric Dickerson. So what do you think they're going to do? Okay, if you don't have any more respect than to run your quarterback on quarterback powers and draws, guess what? I'm going to treat him like a running back, and I'm going to tee off on him. Skip, you remember one of our first shows, because the year before the Broncos had won the Super Bowl, and they played opening night, they played Cam. You remember the hits Cam took? Some of them we thought was illegal. They punished him because they put him in harm's way by running him. And so the Broncos said, if that's what you care about him, we care even less.
True.
So, Skip, they're going to have to change some things in their offense, how they do business, because Cam is not really a three-step throw the ball, three-step throw the ball. That's not what he does. He's a five-step guy, push the ball down the field. He's had Greg Olsen basically his whole career. What tight end do they have?
None. They drafted 2 in the 3rd round. And other than that, they still got Ryan Izzo.
No.
Who else? I don't know. I can't even remember all the rest of them. They're tight ends as a group. Yeah, Matt Lacoste. They're tight ends as a group led by Benjamin Watson, who was playing at age 39, now retired. They were dead last in production last year of tight end groups, okay? So is it that much better? I think not. There's no Greg Olsen. There's really no Christian McCaffrey. I think James White is really good at what he does.
So that would help because he threw to the back. You know, C-Mac was there. He threw to the back a lot, so that would serve him well. But, Skip, at some point in time, you have to push the ball down the field. And I think that's a lot of times that's what stymied the Patriots last year, Skip, because that's fine and good moving between the 20s. But when the field gets condensed, once you get into the red zone, okay, you're running all these little shallow routes, then what?
Okay. And Belichick added from the Arizona Cardinals, Damiere Byrd, who was about the 4th receiver last year for Kyler Murray. And he added from Jacksonville, Marquise Lee, who missed all of 2018 and then tried to come back in 2019 and lasted 6 games before he went back on IR. Can he ever be Marquise Lee that we used to know and love? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. From the front 7, Bill Belichick lost Kyle Van Noy and Jamie Collins and Danny Shelton and Landon Roberts. 4 pretty key cogs, okay? So, and you traded Deron Harmon out of the back 4, but you still got Stephon Gilmore and you still got the twins, you know, so you got those guys. And what? Are they a dominating football team? I don't see it.
When you look at the Patriots, Skip, when you look at them from a front, with the exception, let's say, of the last decade, the exception of Chandler Jones, Skip, they've really never had a guy that says, okay, go win one-on-one. They're a scheme. They try to, all of a sudden, you'll see 5, 7 linebackers on the field, or you'll see 8 DBs. Coach Belichick's like this schematically. He's really never had that guy since he's been in New England, with the exception of early on. Now, he did have Willie McGinnis, who could rush the passer. He did have Seymour. But let's say in the last decade, it's basically been Chandler Jones that was the only guy that could go get the quarterback consistently without you having to scheme ways for him to get there. And for whatever reason, Chandler Jones fell out of favor. He had that one slip-up, Skip, where he did something, you know, and Coach Belichick says, nah, I'm not going to even pay you this. I'm going to move on. And Chandler Jones has had the most sacks over the last, 5 years of anybody, 4 or 5 years of anybody in the NFL. And he's never been able to replace that. But what he's done, Skip, is that he's gotten better on the back end. With Stephon Gilmore, he likes to play a lot of man coverage, whereas before, he was a cover 2 guy. He says, now I'm a pressure guy, zero blitz, bomb blitz you. But Skip, when you do that, if you don't get there, I don't care how great the back end is. If you give that quarterback a chance to pat that ball and you vacated the middle of the field, they're going to hit you over the top.
Okay, so why did Bill Belichick wait this long to sign Cam? Obviously, he needed the market to settle so that he could get him on the cheap. Incentive-laden deal that could go up to $7.5 million, which is stealing a possible former MVP Cam Newton, right? So why would he wait this long and give Tom Brady a 4-month head start to get used to his new team and new receivers over Cam now thrust into a gotta-speed-it-up situation with maybe camp short, and we still don't know how it's going to go. But how quickly can Cam get on the same page with his receiver. By the way, we didn't mention little Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
He's 34 years old, coming off surgery. He led the league in drops last year. Just for the record.
He was injured.
That was your go-to. So way to go. Good luck to you, Cam Newton. So why would Belichick wait this long? Maybe let the market settle, but didn't it settle after the draft? Couldn't this have been done 2 months ago? So it's possible to me Belichick has enough scoundrel in him that because he knew the punishment and the penalties were going to come down on his latest violation of NFL rules. I thought they were over-punished. We're going to talk about this later in the show. But they were punished because of their reputation. Their reputation is now going to take yet another hit after Spygate, after Deflategate, after all the other accusations against Belichick. One's called by the late, great Don Shula Belicheat.
Yeah.
So is it possible?
A GOAT head coach gave another coach a nickname.
Belicheat? Really? So is it possible he delayed the Cam bombshell announcement to yesterday or last night, right up against the announcement of his newest punishment and penalties? Is it possible he tried to undercut or overshadow the negative news with the great news, we got Cam?
Well, if he tried to do that, he did a great job of that, Skip, because I forgot all about it. I think everybody forgot all about what transpired on in Cincinnati. I think it was Cincinnati, Skip. Yeah. I think everybody forgot. It's like, oh, well, they got away with it. No harm, no foul. Because they said it was an innocent mistake. The NFL says clearly, this is not an innocent mistake. With the fine and what they had to pay, Skip, and losing another draft pick, like you mentioned, we're going to talk about it a little later. So the NFL says, no, that was an innocent mistake.
So now I get to the nitty-gritty of Cam plus Belichick. What have I told you for 4 years here on Undisputed about Brady? He has swallowed all of the Napoleonic, dictatorial verbal abuse that Bill Belichick gave him for 20 years in New England. I'm talking about verbal abuse in film sessions when he constantly called out the quarterback for bad plays in front of the team. And he constantly called out the quarterback and just ripped him up and down in front of the team during practice sessions. I don't know if Cam Newton can stomach that. Well, I don't know if he can swallow that.
Skip, it was easy for Coach Belichick to do that to Tom because you have to understand we're looking at Tom as the finished product now, not like Tom who came in as a sixth-round draft pick, really didn't play his rookie season, didn't start, and then all of a sudden he plays. So Coach Belichick had already formulated his plan. Well, I can talk to you like that. It's hard for me to believe that Coach Belichick would have talked to Peyton Manning in the same way. Had Peyton Manning been what he was, because Peyton was what he was. He was the #1 overall pick. Skip, when you're a sixth-round draft pick, you get talked to a different way. Even if no matter what, first-round draft picks normally they get chewed out, but not to the extent to say a lesser guy. Because I don't know somehow the higher your draft pick, I guess the more fragile your ego is. I guess that's what they're thinking, Skip. But for me, Coach Belichick laid the groundwork early on with Tom Brady and with everybody else. And so Tom understood, Skip, I am a sixth-round draft pick, so he didn't say anything. Once you start winning, why are you going to mess with what's working? So why are you going to buck, Skip? You win 3 Super Bowls in your first 5 years, and Coach Belichick has been chastising you. Why would you ever deviate from that? Because you don't want to be the one that upset the cart. So now Tom Brady's like, you made me suppress all of this. Now you see him, he posting and he's doing all kind of talking and doing things that we never would have thought Tom Brady would have done. But it worked, Tom.
Okay.
You can't complain. You can't complain with the outcome.
So are you saying Bill Belichick will mellow or just suddenly sit back and say, I can't handle this quarterback the way I was able to handle that quarterback?
I think the mark of a really great coach, Skip, is understanding each player is different and understanding what buttons to push to get the maximum effort. And so maybe riding Tom was a way to get the maximum effort out of Tom. That's not necessarily the right way or the way to do it with Cam Newton. He's going to have to figure that out. I'm sure they're going to have to sit down and going to have a conversation and with Coach Belichick and Cam. Okay, Cam, so tell me how did they coach you in Carolina? So it's going to be different, Skip.
Cam is his own man. You know that.
And Josh McDaniels, Skip, he's gotten on Tom Brady. He's gotten in Tom's face.
He has. And yet, in this all-time greatest moment in time with heightened racial sensitivity, white coach, black quarterback, Bill Belichick's going to have to be a little more careful than he was with the white quarterback that was Tom Brady. the all-time whitest quarterback, you could argue, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the point is, I don't know how long they'll last together. I don't know, unless Belichick got desperate enough that he kept looking at his roster and looking at Jared Stidham and maybe Brian Hoyer, but probably Jared Stidham. And he had this dream of, I'm going to show the world I got another diamond in the mid to late round rough. I got a 4th-round pick named Jared Stidham that nobody loved except us. And we're going to take him and make him the 6th-round Tom Brady of the future.
Right.
Well, that's his goal and dream. And I think he came to his senses, got a little desperate, and said, I can't do it like this.
Well,
this is too risky.
It's kind of like when you do it once, you feel you can do it again. It's kind of like Jerry Krause. Well, he found, out of Central Arkansas, he found Scottie Pippen. So he's like, I found one, I can find another one. Okay. Nah, bro, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Coach Belichick, yeah, you found that one, but that was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You don't drop down in the 6th round, 7th round, and be finding all-time great players, regardless of position, Skip. That doesn't you might get one. But to say that, okay, yeah, that's what I did with Tom, I'm going to do that again, probably not going to happen.
Belichick was somewhat a prisoner of the 2 games he faced Cam Newton. Remember 2013, the Monday night football game at Carolina, and Cam was sensational. In fact, these might be two of the best games he's ever played. Then 2017 at Foxborough, he out-dueled Tom Brady 33-30, and he went 23 of 29 for, I think it was 315. It was all-time Cam. It was tremendous. And I think Belichick would say, man, I tried to defend him and I couldn't stop him in either game. So maybe I should take a shot here.
I think the thing with Coach Belichick, Skip, guys will stomach a lot as long as they're winning. It would have been interesting to see would Tom Brady have let Coach Belichick coach him as he did if they weren't winning divisions, if they weren't going to championships, winning championships on a consistent basis.
Nine Super Bowls in 20 years?
In 20 years. So, Skip, players will stomach a lot. If that it gets really old because you see what got Coach Pencil, what you call him, behind his ear. Patricia's trying to do that same strategy up in Detroit. It is not working.
Because they are rebelling.
You up here yelling and screaming. We winning like 6 games a year. What you talking? Get out my face.
Yeah, we pass you in the hallway and you look the other way. You won't even say hello to us?
Exactly.
Really? Well, that's what Belichick did.
Right, but Coach Belichick's winning Super Bowls. And that's, I think, Skip, a lot of times that's the mistake that some of these, off the coaching tree, that's the mistake that they make. And I understand, but, you have to put your own spin on it. You can't get up there sounding like Coach Belichick without his resume because you have to understand, guys are going to see, okay, let me see, I understand you came from Coach Belichick, but let me see what you can bring to the table.
So I've seen most of the Patriots Super Bowl odds have fallen from about 25-1 to about 20-1.
Yeah, they'll pick that up.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
But I will not give you more victories than Tom Brady. Are you
I feel very comfortable. I feel very comfortable with Yeah, I do.
Do you feel comfortable enough to double our bet right now?
I don't want to double it.
We got 5 cases. I will go 10 cases.
No.
You got Cam Newton. You got an MVP. I just got little old Tom Brady at age 43.
If you given me a Cam saying like March, been on to something. Cam could have had that playbook, studying, getting it done.
So you're not that fired up about that?
I feel a lot better. A lot better.
I think you feel a little better. And I still feel real good. How
about put it to you like this? I'm about 6 weeks into an 8-week rehab. That's how good I'm feeling. Yeah, right now.
Really? Okay. Well, after your vacation,
setbacks.
You might need a little rehab, right?
No setbacks.
Oh, all right. Cam's got a lot to prove. Coach Belichick has a lot to prove. I like this pairing, guys. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.